Hello everybody, hope you're doing fantastically well. An exuberant Connor here with a lack of sleep, but way more ideas on Leeds United today. Positive, something positive to grip onto with Leeds United as we get our second clean sheet in 2 games and we pick up all 3 points. Brighton, we get a point. Palace, we get all 3. 2 results I did not predict. I genuinely thought from what I'd seen so far this season, just having nothing really from what I was seeing from Leeds United. I was expecting 2 defeats. So to get 4 points there out of 6, that's absolutely massive, and roll on Brentford at the weekend. If you are going to be there for the Brentford game, come over and say hi. I will be there with my old man. So I just can't wait to get back down to Ellen Road. But let's get into the game, everybody. Leeds United, as I say, picking up the win. 16 shots to Palace's 8. 3 on target to Palace's 1. 465 passes to Palace's 435. We had a debate in our little group chat. Was it dominance? I'd say it was more control. I'd say it was definitely more control. I would have liked to have seen Leeds produce more in the final third. But to be honest, guys, I'm not here for a perfect performance anymore. I'm not here for a perfect picture. I am here for results. I'm here for results this season. That is all I want. My main objective is to stay in the division. That is it. And if you want more detailed analysis on the game, make sure you stick around tonight for the debrief, which will start at 8 p.m. if you want to relive all that Leeds United goodness. But yeah, the stats do back in Leeds' favour. And I thought, as I always say, if it was a boxing match, Leeds would have 100% won it. Vieira came out and said that he felt Palace deserved it. I could understand that sometimes, in a way. I mean, he's always going to say that to protect his ego, but I could understand that in terms of Palace on the counter-attack. There were a couple of occasions where it was maybe 3 on 5 or 2 on 5 or 2 on 4 or whatever. But I didn't ever think to myself, Palace had really had any massive gilt-edged chances in the first half. We'll get on to a couple of the chances in the second half, but the intensity was there from Leeds United from moment one. The pressing, the closing down, the crowd were magnificent again. A lot of people, and I've seen it online, that we are the champions of Europe. I've actually seen Leeds fans, I'm not going to call people out on it, but call it cringe and all this sort of stuff. And I've seen, other people, other fans asking, why do we sing it? And I think the actual chant is you can have your opinions on the chant, but I don't think it's about that. I think it's about the collective. It's about everybody in unison, and it's about a chant that is going forward and going, for the full 90 minutes that supports the team. I think that's what it is. It's not about, the actual content of the chant. It's about the longevity, and it's about the noise that it can create and generate. And especially from a visual perspective as well, with the scarves going round, it's very, very unique. So I thought that started going, and the Leeds players picked up from the start. They responded to it. Ellen Road, as I said, was absolutely bouncing, and the crowd's intensity completely matched the players' intensity from moment one. I thought from moment one, Dan James was absolutely brilliant in terms of the press. He was always trying to gun down Guaita in the Palace goal. And Guehi as well. Guehi, every single time he got the ball, there was definitely a specific instruction from Marcelo Bielsa for Dan James to close down that man, even if Tyler Roberts was further forward. But that was the controversial aspect of the game. You saw Tyler Roberts starting up top. I myself saw that, and I wasn't completely upset. I wasn't throwing my dummies out the pram, but I thought to myself, where's the execution in the final third going to be? Where is that clinical nature in the final third going to be? We all talk about Marcelo Bielsa not having that striker in his remit at the minute without Patrick Bamford, and we spoke about against Brighton, Jack Harrison not having that ball to whip across the edge of the box and someone to be running in and knocking it in. And what we saw in the first 5 minutes, that exact scenario play out. A ball absolutely whipped across the box by Stuart Dallas, and Roberts had to touch it in. He had to touch it in. He missed it. It went out, I believe, for a throw-in on the other side. An absolutely genius ball over from Stuart Dallas, who I thought was fantastic on the night. And Roberts had to finish, and that's where the questions started coming in. Social media started spurring up again. Why is Tyler Roberts in here? Why is Joe Gelhardt not in here? And you can still ask that question for me, because Joe Gelhardt is a striker. However, I will say it was Tyler Roberts' best performance in a long, long time in a Leeds United shirt. Marcelo Bielsa, It seems like he doesn't need a striker on the pitch, in his opinion, and I do think we will see the Tyler Roberts experiment against Brentford. Whether or not that'll be tougher or not, I don't know. But listen, I thought he was good last night. I thought he was very, very good. So the first half, it was decent. As I say, Leeds were definitely in control, but without doing much. And the stats definitely back that up. And I think the striker not being there was a massive hindrance on Leeds. I think we could have gone 1-0 up at the break, especially with that Tyler Roberts chance. But the DJ threat was imminent, was prevalent, throughout the game. I thought Raphinha as well was looking dangerous. But once again, we're seeing it more and more now that without Leeds United having that striker, without the opposition having to focus on that striker as much as Raphinha, what you'll see teams doing is doubling up on Rafa. I think we saw it in the Brighton game. We saw him completely isolated, and we saw it last night in terms of, especially in that first half, he was being doubled up on, and we weren't able to generate much from him. Aside from the second half chance, which was absolutely massive for Leeds United. But I thought he was doubled up on, but I thought he got himself involved in the game a little bit more. He was switching wings, he was going over to the left, he was coming in central, and I think that's what Rafa needs to do when he's being doubled up on. You know, you can move over to the other side of the pitch. Sometimes, as we saw at the weekend with Graham Potter's Brighton, you'll get teams deploying the man-marking system to make our man-marking system ineffectual. And the positive about it was that Raphinha was able to work round it this time. As I said, he moved over to the other side, meaning Mitchell wasn't able to follow him, and it was an intelligent way of doing it. And I thought he was obviously one of our main threats during the game. Quick shout out to Adam Forshaw, who is defying logic at the minute, and Andrea Radrizzani was right. You know, he is like a new signing, and Radz was right. Whether or not he was seeing him in training, whether or not he was just completely convinced by what he'd seen 2 and a bit years ago, he is like a new signing. He's like a new midfielder, and I thought he was absolutely fantastic last night. I thought Gallagher was their best player, but I thought in and around him, Forshaw was doing a really good job. I thought he was doing a fantastic job overall, really. And, you know, when you look at it, it's 2 clean sheets. Bamford's not there, Ayling's not there, but they are coming back. Robin Koch is slowly making his way back to full fitness as well. And when you look at it from an outsider's perspective, you know, if we could get Bamford and Ayling back for, let's say, the Manchester City game, it's at least giving us a bit of fresh hope there, you know, and it's at least getting the bodies back. What else did we see, though? In general, in the first half, we did see Pascal go off, and it's just so frustrating. Pascal makes a tackle on Jordan Ayew. Jordan Ayew goes down writhing around in pain. The same thing happened with Czech Kouyaté in the second half, and our player goes off injured. And so that was a big downer, because I did think Pascal was struggling in that first half against Jordan Ayew. I thought Ayew was definitely one of the best players on the pitch, to be honest with you. You know, an argument for a penalty, definitely for Crystal Palace, but I thought that would have been very, very harsh. I don't think there was enough contact. But Pascal was taken off. Junior Firpo came on, which I know a lot of people were frowning about 100%, and you can say you weren't at the time, but you're just lying to yourself. Everybody was nervous at that. I mean, if you weren't nervous at that, why was Firpo not starting the game as a standardised left back who we bought in the summer, you know? So Firpo came on. He got a yellow card again within 2 or 3 minutes, and you're thinking, oh no, it's against the most dangerous player on the pitch in Jordan Ayew in that first half, and he's got a yellow card already. You know, game management once again being questioned. But I have to say, guys, I thought he grew into it. I thought he was really good in that second half. Beyond 48 minutes, I thought he was getting forward. He was offering the overlap. He was putting some really, really nice flighted balls into the box, which if a Patrick Bamford's in there, he's gobbling up. And, you know, I thought he was good. He grew into the game. A couple of wayward passes, which we're gaining from him at the minute. I don't think his pass completion during a 90-minute game is that expert, to be honest. But I thought when he got into those advanced areas, he was a real help to Dan James. Dan James again. There was a point in the second half where Leeds were really trying to gain momentum, but we couldn't keep a hold of the ball, and James just started pressing by himself again, pressing, smashing into players, winning the ball back, and I really like him. I really, really, really like him. I think he's got, for me, he does give me a little bit more in a game than Jack Harrison does. And I will say that just as a comparative, because I feel they're very, very similar players. But I feel over a 90 minutes, I do appreciate on the field, and a lot of you might disagree here, I appreciate a lot more to what Dan James gives us. You know, I think the output there is a lot better for me than what Jack Harrison does give us, in my personal opinion. And I think Bielsa also attests to that, hence why he starts over Jack Harrison on that left-hand side. We're not taking into account last season. We don't do that on this channel. We're not just reverting back to last season and what he did in the Championship. We're talking about the here and now. I thought Dan James was brilliant and really gave us that intensity and that press which we need. And he should have got an assist. 4 moments in the game. 4 big moments in the game. Benteke somehow missing that chance. Actually, I'll go 5 moments in the game. Roberts missing that chance where Dallas sweeps it across. He had to finish. He had to get a touch on it. Benteke somehow missing that header. God knows how he missed that header. That's one of the misses of the season for me. Melee with a brilliant reaction save when the ball was sort of deflected from Jordan Ayew. He had to react, turn around, save it on the line. Obviously, you've got Raphinha's penalty there as well. And there was a 5th moment, did I mention it? Rodrigo, of course, and that's why I led on to it with Daniel James. Daniel James playing a lovely assist, cross ball over from Raphinha. Dan James playing the ball over, lovely touch. No one's talking about his touch. His touch was incredible from that Raphinha 50-yard ball. Touches it down with his right, knocks it over his left, and Rodrigo, he just has to put that away first time. Tries to take it round Gaeta, and that's the problem with Rodrigo sometimes. Not sometimes, all the time. There's too many touches. When there only needs to be 1 or 2 sometimes. I think he drastically needs to improve. We just don't have a number 9, apart from Patrick Bamford and Joe Gelhardt. We just don't. Tyler Roberts isn't a number 9, and neither is Rodrigo at all. So, yeah, that was a little bit of a worry, but the game did sort of balance on those 5 moments, in my opinion. Rafa got the penalty at the end. The crowd went absolutely nuts, and I think overall we controlled the game that much that we deserved the victory. I don't think we were dominant, but I do think we controlled the game. We dictated the tempo. When Crystal Palace are time wasting from the 66th minute onwards, that sort of, backs up any point about who deserved to win the game, in my personal opinion. Guys, let me know what you think in the comment section below. The debrief will be back tonight. Make sure you stay tuned. Leeds United have won. We go on to Brentford with vigour, with 4 points out of 6 in the bank. Guys, I will see you this evening. Cheers.